I was just had a thought. Me and my wife were discussing it. If uh, if a gunman, if I'm still allowed to say that word on this platform, if he were to just take his tool and fire it aimlessly in any direction, carelessly, it would be self-evident to most that that would be reckless and dangerous and a horrible, horrible thing to do. But I was thinking the way that the media and everyone love to spin things, they don't let people really ponder it and think about other dangers because they have an agenda. And, one of the bigger dangers that I see above and beyond what the media will tell you is a threat to your being, you yourself may actually be guilty of. I think many people are without realizing the true comparative nature of the problem, which is simply this cell phone addiction that people have. I know many times I absolutely despise going on the highway because more often than not, someone will be crossing the center line or riding the center line trying to drive with their peripheral as they are on their cell phone. Cell phones cause innumerable accidents, deaths, and problems in this nation and around the world as people think that they're harmless and they don't really think of what they're doing. And when we compare the mass, the velocity, the destructive power of a firearm, the one that everyone hates, they love to hate, is the AR-15, which typically would have a cartridge holding a 55 grain lead tip or brass or copper coated, whatever your preference of armament might be, 55 grain projectile being launched, possibly anywhere up to nearly 2,000 feet per second. Now, if we use that idea that it's this projectile coming at possible innocent people as a danger, let's look at something as small as a compact vehicle, which many Americans drive today, such as perhaps the Civic, which would range anywhere from 2,800 pounds, possibly to 3,300 pounds. So we'll hit the middle and we'll go with 3,000 pound of mass being driven down the highway with momentum, velocity, all the physics behind it, crushing power. And that would equal 21 million grains, as there is 7,000 grain per pound. So if you're driving down the road and you take your eyes off the highway and you're looking at your Facebook or checking your text messages or whatever, you have a 21 million grain vehicle if you drive a small vehicle. Granted, pickup trucks, SUVs that get into the 4,000 or 5,000 pound range, substantially more. That is what you're doing. You're driving a bullet down the highway. You are not guiding this bullet, much like the reckless person with a firearm that may just wildly fire armament into the air. You are essentially, in essence, doing the same thing. You have an unguided metallic missile, a projectile, driving down the highway with no one actually directing its path. That would be equivalent to 381,818 AR-15 projectiles when it comes to comparing mass being launched. So that's 1/3 of a million of those little demon bullets that everybody hates so bad in volume in comparison to one small vehicle being going down the highway, unmanned, blindly guided toward possible innocent people that you may hit head on, crushing them, tearing their flesh, ending their lives, affecting their families. And these type of topics seem to be such a small deal. To me, I find it far more likely for you to encounter some uncaring, careless, obviously reckless individual driving their vehicle at a high rate of speed, not looking at the road, and there is an unguided bullet headed towards you and your family. I bring this to everyone's attention because I really want you to ponder. The world today doesn't like to think. They don't like to ponder. They like very shallow topics. That when you reach for your cell phone and you're attempting to text and drive with visible oncoming traffic, especially near you, you have basically launched a projectile down the highway, and now you have relinquished control of it. Which is more dangerous? Which is more likely? Which is one of those things that you may encounter more and more frequently? It is easy to condemn the person with the firearm because of media propaganda, movies, television, video games, etc. Why are we not equally, if not more, anti-cell phone plus vehicle, when the truth is we're just the opposite? We try to make every new app, feature, and commodity to make it possible for you to continue to use the little demon box driving down the highway. Which is more likely for you to encounter, your family, loved ones to encounter? Which is more dangerous? And why do so many people do it without really thinking of what they're doing? It's much like every time you look at that phone and you're texting the messages and you're within traffic, it's really no different than putting a blindfold over your eyes, continuing to accelerate, and no longer actually manning your vehicle with any level of control. But yet, people don't seem to be bothered by it. And my question is why? And Scripture tells us to love our neighbor as ourselves. Is it showing any degree of love for us to do something so reckless and so dangerous so casually? This is just one of my short thoughts for the day, and hopefully it'll make you think, because thinking is a good thing. So till next time, take care and God bless.